they ran in because they've already had at least one rider try to run away from them today. I caught it a little bit late, but when they tried to flag him down, he suddenly started to turn around. The passenger's not wearing a helmet and he's not wearing shoes, the driver. When they asked him for his license, he said he doesn't have one, but he's just going nearby, Janlang. So that will be impounded, unfortunately. Crazy thing is, he has an MMDA sticker on the front of his bike, but we've seen that before. People put stickers of LTO, PNP, MMDA in the hope that they won't get apprehended for whatever violation. Of course, you would wonder, if you don't have a license, do you know how to ride safely? Will you stop and take responsibility if you bump a car or if you bump a pedestrian? Or would you just turn around and run away? You saw what happened when the enforcers first tried to flag him down. His instinct was to turn around and go the other way.
Sandali. Alam nyo bang sidewalk to? Alam nyo sidewalk to? Nakatsinelas ka pa.
All of these riders were stopped for driving on the sidewalk, and when they asked the ones behind, why were you doing that? They pointed to the guy at the front and said, we were just following him. See these pedestrians here, and then boom, another motorcycle. There's even a curb there. You can see the curb just behind the enforcers. The argument of the lady now is, if we're not allowed on the motorcycle, how about bicycles? That's not the right way of thinking about it. You should really take responsibility for yourself first. When you're a motorized vehicle, that means you're heavier, you're faster, you have a license, you agree to the rules of the road and everything like that. If you're wondering why the corner is painted like that, it's to remind you that you're not allowed to park on the corner of a street. That's why the enforcer's writing out a ticket now. Oh, I just saw that motorcycle. Why is the mummy holding her helmet instead of wearing it? And why doesn't the daddy or the child have any helmet at all? Jan lang. Grabe naman. So far, the driver's refused to hand over his license. It looks like his helmet is also in a bag. So both parents are holding their helmets instead of wearing them on their head. And then the kid doesn't have any helmet at all. There's a vehicle parked on the sidewalk over here, forcing pedestrians into the road. The tow truck is already connected, but the lady does have some complaints. When she said, how will I take the child to school? And they suggested jeepney, tricycle, grab, taxi. She allegedly said, are you going to pay? Why would they have to pay? They're just doing their job and clearing the sidewalk for pedestrians. When did the sidewalk become a VIP parking space for an SUV?
Ma'am, saan kayo nakatira? Uy, maganda yung condo nyo ah.
Sir, pasensya ka na.
Opo, maganda yung condo nyo mama. Wala bang parkingan sa loob?
Meron po kasi isang sasakyan sa loob na hindi rin naman sa amin. Nakikiparada lang po kami.
Hindi sa inyo.
Bago lang po kasi kami dito sa...
Okay.
So, inihintay pa po namin yung parking.
Okay, okay.
When the team stopped here and started writing the ticket for this vehicle parked on the sidewalk, the guard came out and then the driver came out. It will still be ticketed because imagine if there's no enforcer here, this car would stay here for how long? It could be hours, could be days, could be weeks. The driver has handed over his license, he writes out the ticket and then he can move it inside. They already opened the gate. I don't know why they don't take it inside even if there's no enforcer here, right? Although it's very rare, heavy equipment can be towed away and I've seen it before. But as much as possible, it's better if you can just write a ticket and let them move it because it's a headache to deal with, really. And what they want, the goal, is to clear the sidewalk. Like magic, there's a sidewalk. The problem is, once I move one, look behind it. My goodness.
Ang titikitan kayo yung company. Okay? Para sa susunod, alisin nyo na yan. Kasi kung hindi nyo alisin yan, wala, mapipilita kaming magreklamo. Diyan ang naglalakad dahil wala na madaanan dito.
The manager arrived just in time, so she was able to give her ID. You'll see it's a slightly different ticket from a regular traffic violation. That's the same kind of ticket that they use for things like sanitary violations where they've thrown their garbage all over the sidewalk, anti-littering, anti-smoking in public places like transport terminals. So slightly different ticket, but still it's a penalty. And if it's unpaid, you have a hit on your MBI clearance. This tricycle driver greeted Bong, said good morning, asked for a selfie, everything like that. And then actually he got lucky because they've given him a free helmet. Obviously he doesn't need it when he's driving his tricycle, but when he uses his motorcycle, it's a nice helmet too. Galing, pogi. Yan, double visor, nice. Congrats kuya, congrats talaga. And this is an interesting style of parking. Actually, they've ticketed so many vehicles here in the past. This is the same street where there was a food truck in the road, but it looks like it's been removed now. This is where the food cart used to be. Now it's just like a small barbecue on the sidewalk. I wonder what happened to the food truck. Maybe they found the right place to put it. That would be good because it's a nice idea. A food truck is a good business. Just need the right place to put it. You see the sidewalk is obstructed and the road is obstructed. And I remember last time we were here, we saw a lot of school kids walking along here and they were all in the middle of the road. And if it's not parked cars, this is what you have. It's like the road and the sidewalk really became the extension for some people's homes. And then some people would say, we don't have any place to park, we don't have an option. If you can afford to buy a big expensive car, you can afford to pay for parking, you can afford to adjust your property to accommodate the vehicle. That's the truth. It's not that people don't have an option, it's that they want the easier option, parking on the road, parking on the sidewalk. Most drivers have already come out of their homes and handed over a license, so they just get a ticket. It's a lot easier than being towed, although honestly towing is a better deterrent. They're trying to help this driver and tell him it's cheaper if you give your license because then it's considered as attended instead of unattended. The driver for this one just arrived now. It looks like he might come from quite far away. Sometimes that's how it happens. If people find out, oh, you can park on this street, they're allowing it, people will come from other streets just to park their car. Because why pay for parking if you can just park on the public road for free, right? That's the mindset of many people. I just wonder how you can do this. How can you just extend over the sidewalk as if it's nothing? And then eventually that would be concrete. And then people would say, well, there's no sidewalks in that area. Yeah, because you took them, right? This rider was flagged down for a very simple violation, driving in slippers. The problem is, when the importer asks for his license, he cannot show anything. So that bike would be subject for impounding. If he was wearing shoes, they never would have flagged him down. And there it goes now with the towing crew. Oh, they're turning the tow truck around for him. I found cat of the day, but he's inside. If you look at this road here, you'll see there's parking on both sides, including the sidewalk. But what I really want to show you is behind me. When you get to the end of this road, suddenly there's a vehicle parked sideways, obstructing it, leaving just a narrow space to get out. So that's why the tow truck is picking it up now. I'm just not sure what kind of driver would think to themselves, I'm going to park sideways and I'm going to block this road and I'm going to make it really hard for any other road user. Maybe later they will complain and say, hey, why are you picking on me? You should have some consideration. How about consideration for every other road user? Everyone that's being disturbed by the way you park, right? Good luck if there was ever a fire, because how are you going to get through streets like this? That's for the LGU. Outside here, this is Blue Mentrit. This is a Mabuhay lane. Should be prioritized for clearing as an alternative route. Of course, they will argue, why do you have to ticket me or just move it? What good is it if you move it and then once the team leave, you put it back? That's the purpose of the ticket, to act as a deterrent from you doing it again and again and again. There's kind of a sidewalk here, but, well, not really, huh? The guy that was sitting on this motorcycle told the enforcer he'll go get his license. Now someone else is sitting on it, and she's saying, oh no, they said it's okay, I can just go. But it's not true. There's a motorcycle here being taken inside the house. So is it possible? Yeah, it's possible. If people think there's a ticket, that's the time they don't want to park on the road anymore. There's a nice Mercedes over here, but unfortunately, they consider it to be illegally parked. And although I have to blur the license plate, it's very interesting that there's a sticker right in the middle of it, which would make it a little bit hard to know whether that's an 8 or a 3. So, they're not really meant to conceal or put something on your plate that could confuse people about what the real number is. And what kind of parking is that? Fully obstructing the sidewalk, obstructing one lane of the road. Crazy. And this rider was flagged down now. No helmet, no shoes. Issuing a ticket to this illegally parked tow truck on a sidewalk. If the driver can't show a license, you will see towception. That's where a tow truck tows a tow truck. And enforcer just flagged down this couple here. Unfortunately, no crash helmets, no shoes. He has handed over his license, so that would just be a ticket. And one more rider flagged down there. Also no helmet, unfortunately. And if you look at the SCOG team, you'll see they're removing all these bollards from the road. People often put them there to reserve parking, sometimes just to prevent other people from parking. But it is a road obstruction and it will be confiscated and cleared. Nobody came out to show a license for this and move it, so they've already connected the chain and it's going to be pulled onto this flatbed. Just look at this, basically one lane wasted on this side, half a lane wasted on the other side, just by these big concrete obstructions. That van was just ticketed for illegal parking, and now the security guard is throwing the tires in the road to make sure no one can park there. So that's really what this is about. It's for reserving parking. There you go, one tow truck pulling a tow truck, also known as towception. It does happen sometimes, because here's the thing, if you're towing illegally parked vehicles every day and then someone sees that you're illegally parked, they're going to say that's a double standard, so they still have to enforce the same rules on the tow trucks. They are privately owned, they're not owned by the MMDA. Another nice car, but again, parking on the street, so the towing crew are connecting now. They just remind the mushroom head also to wear his helmet properly. I just noticed behind that parked car, they also turned the sidewalk into like a basketball place. So pedestrians can't pass there. This tricycle is also being impounded for illegal parking. No license plate on the back and the driver can't show a license. So they're just waiting now for the tow truck to come in and pick it up. Instead of adjusting the private property to fit the car, they just took over the sidewalk. So that's been ticketed, same as this tricycle here, and the towing crew are here ready to take away both of them. Just like the motorcycles over here, there's no drivers to take tickets, so they get put on the tow truck. They have to lift them because the steering is locked. That motorcycle was flagged down because a passenger is wearing a bicycle helmet or a skateboarding helmet. Not approved for use on a motorcycle. Pretty hefty penalty of 3,000 pesos. The dangerous game the lady's playing, running between the tow truck and the car. Because this big machine can easily squash your legs, break your legs. I wonder if at one point there was a sidewalk here and then people extended, or if there was really never a sidewalk here. Not sure, to be honest. Even the birds are being removed from the street. Looks like they're going to load it onto the tricycle. See this rider, but I heard him because his exhaust is so loud. It draws a lot of attention to himself. No helmet, no shoes. Surprisingly, he's already been ticketed, but he's still riding without his crash helmet, and I can see it hanging right there. Look, it's on the bike. My goodness. See, this guy's making a mockery of the enforcers. He said he would push it, and then after around 10 feet he jumped on the bike again. That's why it should really be a second ticket.